Welcome to KCAL 9 News at 9 and streaming on CBSN Los Angeles. I'm Juan Fernandez.
And I'm Sharon Tay. Well, the Democratic presidential candidates faced off on everything from immigration to mass shootings to health care and President Trump.
The 10 contenders are looking for ways to connect with voters and to raise enough money to keep their campaigns going. KCAL 9's Sara Donchey is live in the Satellite Center with highlights from tonight's debate. Sarah?
What a busy night. Tonight we heard from the top 10 Democratic candidates in the race for 2020. These were the candidates who qualified for tonight's debate under predetermined guidelines. You know, there were some very tough questions. Candidates were asked about their records, about their plans, about their qualifications, and they went head to head on some of the nation's most pressing issues. The battle lines were drawn tonight in Houston, with each of the 10 Democratic candidates there taking their chance to stand out in a crowded field. There was no shortage of harsh words shot across the stage.
They do not have to buy in.
You just said that. You just said that 2 minutes ago. You just said 2 minutes ago that they would have to buy in. You said they would have to buy in.
Have to buy in. If she qualifies for Medicaid,
are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
Be in for it.
This is why presidential debates are becoming unwatchable. This reminds everybody of what they cannot stand about Washington. Scoring points against each other, poking at each other, and telling each other that you're my plan, your plan. Look, we all
that's called a Democratic primary election. That's called an election.
The attacks came swiftly against the sitting president, like California Senator Kamala Harris's words about the president's response to recent mass shootings.
Well, look, I mean, obviously he didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition.
While the attacks may have drawn the biggest reaction from the audience, there were plenty of compliments exchanged, too.
We all owe a huge debt to President Obama, who fundamentally transformed healthcare in America.
I also want to recognize the work that Bernie has done on this.
Some of the top issues, health care, and the differences between progressive candidates like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and moderates like frontrunner Joe Biden.
Every study done shows that Medicare for all is the most cost-effective approach to providing health care to every man, woman, and child in this country.
I believe the best way we can do that is we make sure that everybody gets covered by health care at the lowest possible cost.
Nobody's yet said how much it's going to cost the taxpayer.
Gun control also took center stage, with former Congressman Beto O'Rourke unapologetic about an assault weapons ban.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
The candidates shared their perspectives on racism in America.
If I am president of the United States, we will create an office in the White House to deal with the problem of white supremacy and hate crimes.
Discuss the ongoing trade war with China under President Trump.
He has put us in the middle of this trade war, and he is treating our farmers and our workers like poker chips in one of his bankrupt casinos.
And long-standing conflicts overseas.
If our troops can summon the courage to go overseas, the least our members of Congress should be able to do is summon the courage to take a vote on whether they ought to be there.
We have to see ourselves as the owners and shareholders of this democracy rather than inputs into a giant machine.
The vice president seemed to stumble at certain points, like this moment when he seemed to play right into the criticism that he is aging out of a younger, more progressive party in a discussion about education.
Play the radio, make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone, make sure the kids hear words.
And Biden had to contend with this interruption.
We're going to clear the protesters now.
With 3 hours to spar, there was still room for lighter moments, like when one moderator asked Senator Cory Booker about veganism as it relates to climate change.
Should more Americans, including those here in Texas and in Iowa, follow your diet?
First of all, I want to say no. Actually, I want to translate that into Spanish. No.
So we often look at speaking time at the end of these debates. Biden and Warren got the most. O'Rourke and Yang had the least. The debate was trending on social media, of course, all throughout the evening. There were a lot of comments about what was not discussed. We did not hear much about voting rights or election security. There was really no big moment about women's rights, in fact. And we also have yet to hear reaction from the president himself. President Trump said he had planned to watch playback of the debate, so we'll have to see if he makes any comments about that this evening. Juan and Sharon, back to you. All right.